So before I just go into the particulars and the small minutia about the fight, fellas, what did you think about this lineup when you heard that they were about to fight March 1st?
Well, originally this fight was supposed to take place in Houston, Texas. Um, I think was it at the Toyota
Hmm.
where the Rockets play? I don't know. I could be wrong on that one, but I think it's more appropriate to be back on the East Coast, closer to home for a lot of people on this card, and really, back to the essence and the roots. I think is real fitting because we're seeing the clock tick and the sand wind out of the glass for this PBC lineup. Ever since Showtime, you know, came to an end, PBC, the whole lineup's kind of been uh it's been a question mark. Javante is always going to be good. David Benavidez is a big enough star to carry his own weight, but everybody else on the roster, it's just a little time of turmoil. Earl Spence, question mark. Sean Porter retiring. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and I think this is one of the farewell tours for the PBC when you go down this card.
It's kind of like an end of an era, a good
Hmm.
era actually. They gave us
Oh
some good
yeah.
fights, So
Hmm.
I mean, we already see what's happening over there on the side of top ranking, but uh, not to digress. A lot of lead up to this fight, we heard about a possible retirement, a lack of drive, or like the fire is not in there for my man Tank. He wants to rediscover himself in a different way outside boxing. I mean, there was a lot to lead up on this fight, and I'll tell you this: the lead up kind of did our guy Lamont Roach a disservice because we're leading up to that fight. I'll be honest, man. Hey, I didn't know about the man's game, and I didn't. Now I know. Now I know what he's about. Now I know. Now I know. I
Yeah,
can't sleep on him. So let's talk about the fight.
for sure, for sure. Before we
Uh,
begin,
yeah,
shout out to our viewers. Make sure y'all tap
yes,
into the comment section, like, comment, subscribe.
yeah. Like, comment, and yeah, like, comment, subscribe. So I'll go first. I'll take a first dig at it. Right. Um, I'm watching this fight. Right, and it's typical Tank. Slow start, but still he's better than the typical Tank that he's still the aggressor in the beginning. And Tank always picks and chooses his spots. He's not like a guy who's gonna blitz you out. He's just different. And he has a different rhythm to where he catches you. And um as a person that has watched Tank over the years, I know when he's dangerous. I know when he's at his peak, and it's that from that seventh leading up to that ninth round, and he was in typical Tank in those rounds.
Hmm.
Actually, Lamont looked like he was, yeah, he's driving this. He got this. And the controversial moment hit in the ninth round. Tank takes a knee, and there was no count involved. It was not considered a knockdown, but he did get his towel to clean his eyes. Apparently, whatever chemicals he had put in his hair while he was sweating it out, kind of was burning his eyes, whatever. Um,
Man, I can attest to that though.
yeah,
I don't know if that was what happened last night. And I have this concern anytime I see the corner put a glob of grease on their face, because as a football player, some of my most strong memories are having straight backs, cornrows, blue magic in my hair, and then putting that helmet on and the sweat coming down and the burn of the hair grease in my eye. So I've
right.
been there. I can identify, and I have this concern whenever they glob and grease on people's faces. But I mean that is a thing. I don't know if that's what happened last night, but it is a thing. And so I don't know if it was from the sweat or I don't know if it was from Lamont Roach touching him and it getting on the glove and then Lamont redistributing that grease to his eye. You know what I'm saying? Because that's one of the things I look for all the time when they putting the grease on and then somebody's working that jab and then now the grease is on the glove and you catch them at the right time. I mean, you redistributing it. redistributing the pain.
Right. I mean, I don't know too much about the, boxing will always throw a different new situation to you. Never seen something like this, especially during contact sports and during a game like a game of small micro gains, because you're pounding each other. I mean, pause. You're hitting each other, and it leads to the trauma at the end that kind of like makes you, I've overcome this person, right? And you stop the fight because your eye is burning. I know
Mm,
people that I'm fighting with broken hands, dislocated shoulders, and they never stop
blood,
that fight. They never stop that
blood.
fight
I mean,
so they can pop your shit back. I mean, pop your stuff back in. So I was confused. I've
this is
never seen
combat.
that.
This is combat. Like you're in a sport where there can be blood literally running down your face, and you would have to continue to fight.
Right.
The panic of the situation, just not something you expect from Tank, but as of late, the comments that you're getting from Tank lately just show once again that his heart isn't really in it like it once was. Even going down to his relationship with Calvin Ford would seem a little bit weird going into this fight.
Yeah, and to give some tech to protect Tank a little bit here, I could be if a fighter. I'm not a fighter, but if a fighter told me it's easier to take a punch than to have like a spirit being thrown into your eye, I believe you, because some fighters are just used to taking punches to the head. They've been doing it their whole life, right? So to them it doesn't hurt, but you're in the pain game and you stop. That looked like kind of like superstar treatment because
yeah,
it's not like
absolutely.
he waited, 3 minutes so he could go back to his corner so he could fix that. It's not like he took a knee and it was not counted for. So I don't know what that would have changed the dynamic of the scorecards if that was counted. I'm
Mm.
sure the outcome would have
No,
been different.
the outcome is a Lamont Roach victory with a
By
10-8 round.
majority, by
The 10-8
majority,
round.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
10-8 round creates a win
Yeah,
for Lamont Roach just off
because
of
you
that
look
one
right,
incident.
correct.
right. But not to take away anything from Tank, he looked good. He looked good. I mean, there were times
No, but
where
you
I
wait, hold on, bro. You keep protecting Tank and saying he's the face of boxing. Do you have to, if you're gonna, you have to uphold him to a higher standard. You
right,
cannot sit here and say that he's the face of boxing and you're gonna protect him. Man, this is combat. You
right,
went to a ring, you had a camp, you had preparation time, and you made a very novice mistake in the ring. It's like you panicked. If
mm,
the product is in your, it probably was. I don't want to doubt that, but you can't make that type of, you can't make that type of error in a fight of this magnitude. You have to,
right.
if you're gonna hold them to that standard, bro, you have to really hold them to that standard. You can't
Yeah,
make it. You can't do it. You can't take a knee. If you do take a knee, you can't run to the corner. That's a disqualification. Hold them to the standard of what you said, face of boxing. I'm just really tired of taking at this point. Like,
Do do you
honestly,
think that that was a superstar treatment type of thing where if it was any other person, like you would just wait for the bell to go and then go to your corner and fix that stuff,
There's
like
no
referee
right,
thing. There
Steve.
is no thing. Hey, for real. If all he really had to do was say, "Hey, ref, there's something in my eye," and the ref would have called a timeout. Because yes, you do get that superstar treatment.
yeah,
I
yeah.
Steve
mean,
Steve Willis has had a rough couple of weeks, man.
uh, Steve, what's his name? Steve Wilkes.
So
Steve Wilkes. He's
he
having a
he
tough run here right as
he
of late.
he is hilarious. He watches the fight like a spectator. Instead of a technician out there trying to save people's lives. But all in all, boy, was I impressed by Lamont Roach and how he approached this fight. When he chose a strategy that I'd never seen Tank, you know, fold on. I mean, that strategy that Lamont
Yeah,
used.
let's
Most
talk
people
about it.
fold. Most people
Let's.
break because there was a lot of exchanging in
So
tight
what
pockets.
happened here? What happened here is we're used to seeing the influence of Floyd Mayweather, where Tank takes those first 3 rounds to download, download, download. and he progressively gets more busy after rounds 4 and beyond. Well, Lamont had a very patient approach. He didn't lend himself and put himself out there to make mistakes. It was kind of a conservative approach. And so he put the pressure on Tank to take the lead, right? He, you know, it's one thing for you to be patient and wait to download the information. And so once Tank, it looked like Tank was going to start getting busy, but then Lamont said, now I'm setting my traps now.
Right.
Now I got you where I want you.
How many fighters have you seen hit Tank's body hit him to the body like that?
Clean punches.
I've never seen that. A lot of people, and maybe it's because Tank his structure and how tall he is. They're always aiming for his head, but this dude was doing clean body to head, body. He was working Tank, and I could see Tank get tired and realize, like, okay, I'm in a dogfight right now. I'm in a dogfight because in the end of that 7th, there was an exchange where it was a very tight proximity exchange, and Tank hit him with a nice left check hook, and Lamont kind of hit him with a body and a right overhand, and I could see Tank shaking his head like, okay.
We seen Gervonta visibly shaking this fight. We haven't. The only time that we've legitimately seen him hurt was the contest against Pitbull Cruz, where Tank's hand was hurt and he basically fought the whole fight with one hand. But we seen Cruz. That was the only time I think we've seen anybody be able to make deposits to the body. Last night, we seen Lamont Roach have an effect on Tank.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember Tank visibly affecting Lamont Roach. I can't. I don't know if you do.
He had very good counter punches, but they were not doing anything. Like, I respected Lamont Roach's chin, but when the last rounds, right, Lamont Roach looked like the aggressor, and those are supposed to be Tank's rounds, like historically. And that's when I knew Tank lost the fight. There wasn't another level Tank was going to, but I could see that Lamont was just on gear 3, just playing it safe to win. And I could feel like Lamont could have taken it another level, but Tank could not take it the other level. And I could see Tank's corner looking all like, oh crap. When he went back in the 11th, there was like, they were having sobering takes for him, like, yo, you got to do this, you got to do more, you got to do, like, and I'm on the other corner, you could see Lamont's brother saying, stay poised, stay this. It was like more like finish line, don't go crazy. I know you got another level in you, but don't go crazy. And it's very disheartening that we saw that level that was brought out of Lamont, and for him not to get a victory it shows you what the state of boxing. It's always been like that. I do agree. Most people that have been watching this sport for years and years, they'll tell you to beat the champ, you have to beat the champ. But it's disheartening if you put that level of performance and you don't win. You don't win because you may never have that second chance with Tank, the Tank that I know. You may never have it in that same mindset. Like, you have to take your opportunity when it's there. And I don't know. The officiating may have not given him that opportunity to bask in his victory, which to the streets, everybody saw what they saw. Even the casuals were mad on Twitter, and they were Tank's homies. I mean, not homies, but fans. And Tank even had to say, man, they love you and they hate you. Like, it really, you switch from being a hero to a villain this quick. I couldn't believe what I saw yesterday. You want to add to that? Am I the only one who saw that? Like, Tank become a villain?
I think people are growing tired of some of the antics. They want to see a fighter of his skill and caliber go out and be great. They don't want to hear about guys talking about retirement and things like that when they haven't seen how great you truly can be. So you feel a little bit slighted as a fight fan, and then you go into the fight, you see a guy with Lamont Roach who clearly had a game plan and that showed a lot of mental fortitude within the fight. to withstand anything that Tank had. So yeah, you kind of feel cheated as a fan a little bit. So yeah, maybe not a villain all the way, but you kind of grow tired of the antics, the speech, now you can think, okay, man, is he cherry picking these fights? Will he have a rematch? Will we see you be great? And ultimately, that's all you want. So you can make all these criticisms and things like that, but as a fan, you just want to see fighters be great.
Yeah. Let's talk about one, Tank's power, and let's talk about Lamont's absorption of that power.
Yeah,
We've seen
with Lamont being a smaller guy fighting at a smaller weight class, we expected Gervonta to get this guy out of there.
Yeah.
It's a cool reminder, man. Like, man, it's not about the size that hard. Like the way my man was moving into those punches and eating them and still coming back and contesting. I've never seen that. I've never seen Tank, because Tank is let's give Tank his propers. Tank is one of the guys in the 135 and in that area that has true one power knockout. He has that nuke, a real no combination needed. I've seen him knock out people with one uppercut. He's knocked out people from the body shot, one body shot. He did it to Garcia, Ryan Garcia. He really has that power. He's that deal. How was Lamont Roach able to absorb those hits, especially earlier on when Tank was setting those traps and putting him in those positions where Tank knows best how to capture his victims?
We gotta acknowledge that Lamont Roach was slipping a lot of that, because if it was landing clean, he wouldn't survive. So we have to acknowledge that Lamont Roach put on a beautiful defensive display last night.
And on a
he's a well-schooled fighter. He showed a lot of old school tactics, rolling the shoulder, catching the hooks with the right hand, using the forearm, a lot of slick inside stuff. So things that you don't see from a majority of modern fighters. He could have been in black and white. Some of the things he saw defensively from Lamont Roach, from that perspective, it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was a reminder, like, bro, it's boxing is they what's the thing? Champions they're not what's the word here? There's an old boxing saying, like, a champion is not. They don't come from the ladders they selected. So sometimes you may not know a fighter, but they may be the greatest fighter in the world. Like, just don't have a chance. They don't get those big looks. Like there may be some cold ass dude somewhere in Idaho that is probably still super nice, but you never know. But that reminded me. I didn't know who Lamont Roach was. I mean, I'd seen that name, but I've never watched him closely to know what style he fights in. And now even I know that the dude got power too. So hey, I can't wait to see his next fight. I think Tank wants to run this back quick. From what I've been hearing post fights, Tank was like, oh, they asked him about retirement. He was like, what retirement? He's like, nah, I'm not retiring from what? I gotta get mine. I gotta go back and get him, because in his mind, I think Tank thinks he lost, which that's the right approach, right? But I really do think we Tank fans, boxing fans, if Tank really is the face of this beautiful sport, he needs to run that quick. He needs to run that quick.
We gotta stop calling him the face, man. We gotta reject that wholeheartedly.
Okay, one of the faces.
He is not. No.
One of the faces. I mean, no. he brings eyes.
At this point in his career, fight the best fighters, make it happen. No one wants to hear you talk about retirement. If you talk about retirement, just do it and leave.
Yeah. But okay, let's take retirement out of the window. If you're
he's the one that brought it up. He's the one that brought it up, not me.
I don't think he's the one that said it. I don't think he's gonna retire. But like, if we throw it out the window, if you're Tank, do you rush on this rematch, or do you go soul searching?
It depends. Like if he felt any type of punishment, like he didn't. It wasn't a grueling contest, right? So this is March 1st, so we can get this the rematch midsummer. I
It has to be
mean,
this year. It has to be this year.
May's taken up, so we looking around. I don't know, maybe somewhere around the 4th of July.
Yeah.
So
Shakur Stevens said, if Tank doesn't want to give you a belt, I got a belt for you, Lamont. Come fight me. So Shakur was
Juneteenth,
like, yeah,
Juneteenth weekend. Let's make it happen. I
yeah,
got you.
Shakur,
I got you out
Shakur,
For the
here.
people, for the people.
Shakur put his name in the hat too. He's like, yo, if that dude don't want to fight you, Tank is doing his soul searching thing. Hey, come over here. Let's fight. So Shakur is open to fighting Lamont Roach. Um, I mean, I don't know, but there's so much for Tank out there that I don't even know. Think this. I mean, we want to see Lamont Roach fight him again. Surprisingly, after yesterday's showcase, but prior to that, I wanted to see him fight Lomachenko. I wanted to see him fight a Haney. I wanted to see him fight possibly a Teofimo or any other fighter, But now, boom, Lamont Roach comes into this mix, so it kind of confuses. It kind of makes it interesting to say the least. So, hey, it's always good to get these pleasant surprises. And thank you, Lamont Roach, man, for reminding us, man. Like, there's always somebody good waiting in line. It's not like, that these prime fighters that we see because they have social media followings and whatever. Nah, the real deal is out there somewhere. And sometimes you just got to give them an opportunity to step on that stage to showcase the skills that pay the bills. So
Add Lamont Roach to the chat with the Keyshawn's and people of that name, that nature, the next generation now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.